Welcome to the Nail Engineer, and today we've got another 5 colours from Madam Glam. And sorry for my scabby fingers, but there is a video on this mani coming soon to my channel, so remember to subscribe. And apologies for my fairly minging looking finger. This is the tail end of an attack of Pontholix eczema. You may have heard me mention it before. It's one of the reasons I actually became a nail tech, because I really struggled to find people who could deal with my condition without actually making it worse. So our 5 new colours, I've got 3 lovely greens, and one of which is a 1-step, and a couple of glitter polishes as well. And this one here is actually a Cateye, so yes, I will be magnetising with this one, and it is called Solar Wind. And as with all of the Cateye swatches that I do, I will do this by itself, and I will also do it over black, just so that you can see the difference in contrast that you get there. Here's another glitter polish called Water Winds, and OMG, I had this on my list, my wish list for ages, and just came to order it, and they were out of stock with like top coat or something, so it sat in my basket for a few days and then it just disappeared off the website. And Madam Glam were like, oh yeah, we're discontinuing it. I was like, no, babe, I need this for Heather and our wedding. And like, she totally didn't wear it anyways. She wore this one. So yeah, thanks Heather. I've got another green glittery polish. Yay. But anyway, it is a really, really nice colour, and I am quite glad that I've got it. But it's not looking as different to Shaky Grass as I would have liked it to have been, and it's looking quite goldy and not the more kind of sedate, mossy, kind of sagey colour that I was hoping it would be. So, but we'll see how it pops. Anywho, Minty Glam, which I have used for another set of wedding nails. I'll include a picture at the end, and I can confirm already it's pissy. It is one of the wazzy ones, sadly, so you will need to use more coats of this. I'll report back exactly how many at the end, but I think that I had to use about 4 coats on my lady. So anywho, then we've got another glittery one called Treat Me Like Fire, and it's a gorgeous kind of like bronzy antique gold. And then this is a Firefly collection one called King's Choice, which I really thought on the website was just silver glitters in it, but they're multicolored glitters. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see my glitters? Yeah, and I say multicolored glitters. I know that some people go, oh yeah, that's like holographic. No, that's not holographic to me. Holographic is when it's so glittery, like unicorn lines appear in it. That's in my book anyway. So yeah, there's a bit of multi glitter in there, and we'll see how that swatches. Anyway, speaking of swatching, let's get to it. So first up, let's have a go of Cateye Polish Solar Wind, and actually before I begin, we'll give it a little shake just to make sure that all the magnetic pigment is equally dispersed, because I have heard tell of people having problems with that with magnetic Cateyes. So whenever I'm doing a Cateye, I always try it on its own and over black. Also so that I can get an idea of, you know, you don't always have to make them go Cateye. You can just use them as a normal polish. Although you don't get a tacky inhibition layer so much, well, at least I haven't on the other 2 that I've got. So yeah, you can't really like be pressing glitter into it or anything like that. But yeah, that's not as opaque as other Cateyes that I've got. So over a black pop, and oh my, I'm so glad that these black pops were invented, because they sure do save a lot of time faffing about painting pops black so that you can swatch cat eyes and pigments and such like over them. So there you go, you pop on a coverage, and then like on an angle, just hold your magnet as close as you can to the surface without actually touching it, just so that we can get that nice stripe to form. And there it is. Ooh, look at that, yummy. And just to get the Cateye completely out of the way. Let's pop a second coat on this pop here. And I can see that if you were just using this like as a colour, you would probably need 3 coats for opacity. So just off screen, I put a third coat on and have left that wet, and I'm going to do the usual thing with the magnet, holding it close to the surface. And there we go. And if you compare and contrast, you can see the effect is quite different. So next up we'll go first coat on Water Winds, and oh yes, this one is very sheer. This one is reminding me of Glittery Plum, and I fear it may never be opaque, because look at that. Wow, that is see-through, but it looks really, really very nice. I think that I'd probably apply this to get the colour that I wanted it to be. I think that maybe I'd apply this over like a sage green cream base, just to get that opacity on there. Otherwise I think that we're going to be like layers and layers and layers, and I don't think it's ever going to be full opacity, but let's see what happens. On to Minty Glam One Step and see what I mean about it being a bit wazzy. So that looks rather sheer indeed, but it is a lovely colour, and it actually looks really nice with Unicorn Magic, aka White Chrome, aka Unichrome, Snow Opal Chrome, whatever you want to call it. It looks really nice as a base for that. And with it being no wipe, you could probably skip the no wipe top coat and just add it directly on. Although I have had some wear issues with that, so just be careful. Next up, Treat Me Like Fire, and I can tell you that this one is kind of middling consistency. When I did the wedding nails, I did use 3 coats of this, just to get the opacity, but I never had any problems with wrinkling at all. It behaved really nicely, and you can maybe see there, if the camera will focus in on it, that there's little flakes of silver glitter in there, and they're like quite a kind of like an aluminium, like a flat silver rather than a shiny silver, which is what I think stops this colour from being kind of too brassy. It's a really nice tone actually, and definitely a good one for any girls out there like myself who aren't really gold fans. And finally, King's Choice Firefly, which I'm expecting, yeah, I thought it might be. I was expecting it to be a bit sheer. I also wonder, with it being a black, if it's going to be wrinkly, because I do get problems with wrinkling with Madam Glam Perfect Black. Can't really see like you can with the naked eye there, the kind of glitter particles, or how sheer it is, but definitely take my word for it, it's quite sheer. But yeah, it's looking quite nice. I just hope that it doesn't wrinkle. So a second coat of Water Winds, and granted some of the glittery polishes do kind of magically correct themselves on the second coat. This does not look to be one of them, so I will just continue building off screen and then report back, but you can see there that's totally see-through. Similarly with Minty Glam, I'm going to show you what it looks like after the second coat, and then any subsequent coats I'm just going to put on off screen and report back how many it took in the end. My money is on minimum 3, possibly 4, depending on your individual nail situation. And I don't know if you can see that there, but I certainly can with my naked eye, still patchy. And another coat of Treat Me Like Fire. and this is where, if you're lucky, it might be opaque enough for you. But yeah, I did a third coat because I still had some little areas at the cuticle, and can you see there? You can still see my finger through. Now you could remedy this by just giving it underwear, or perhaps if you're wearing like a builder gel or a cover acrylic base, then you'll get away with 2 coats. But for full opacity on a natural nail, I reckon you're going to want 3 coats of this. And I am pleased to report no wrinkles with King's Choice. And similarly as with other colours, you could give this underwear. So if you've got a really opaque black, you could give it a coat of that underneath and then save your glittery polish. And I don't think that you can see there, I can see with my naked eye that that is just a little bit sheer. All the swatches are done now, and I'll go through them one by one. So this is the Cateye Solar Wind, which I've managed to get some fluff on, and yes, by the magic of television, I now have different nails. Yeah, I just got caught short filming the outro of this video on the day, and then it's been several days since I could get back to it, mostly because of my scabby finger. Back to Solar Winds, yeah, it was a little bit sheerer than some of the other ones that I've got. This is over a black base, and this is over itself, and you can see what colour itself is. It's a gorgeous limey colour on its own, which I think would be lush for Halloween. But yeah, it's got a rather nice kind of goldy stripe to it, but it's not quite how it appeared on the website, sadly. It's a bit too garish for my everyday tastes. So the search continues for what I thought that this looked like on the website. Now on to Water Winds, which I was saying that wasn't quite the colour I was hoping from the website, and that it was very similar to Shaky Grass. It's not actually that similar to Shaky Grass, in that the formula is a bit wishy-washy. This is Shaky Grass here, this one, and you can see there's a lot more kind of like goldy highlights. This is a bit more kind of olivey. However, at 4 coats it still wasn't opaque, so I gave it underwear, and I gave it a, this is like a greyish sage green kind of colour. I wanted to go for something that was kind of a bit neutral, just to tone down the greenness of it, to get it back to more like what I was hoping that it would be. And actually that's very nice. So I would say with Water Winds, it's a really nice colour, but just give it some kind of pale sagey green underwear to save yourself tons and tons of coats, and then just put a couple over it. Minty Glam, and I have since shooting this video, I've since used this on actual people a lot of times, and it's really pissy. It's really thin and wishy-washy, which is a great shame because it's a really cute colour. And I don't find that it has a lot of staying power either. So I do recommend that if you get this one, put white on first, but not quite, like leave a bigger gap than you usually would around the side wall and the cuticle, just to make sure that you don't have like any poking through, and it'll help the colour to kind of like blend. I would recommend to do that, otherwise you're looking at about 4 coats on this on anyone who's got any kind of visible nail line. This is Treat Me Like Fire, and this one I got especially for cousin Heather's. So you can see that it's a really nice kind of like bronzy toned like antique gold, and it's very flattering on a lot of skin tones. And then finally King's Choice, which if let's move my light around a bit and see if we can catch some of these different colors. It's really difficult to capture the kind of like multicolored glitters of this, which is probably why when I looked at it on the website I thought it was just a silver glitter, because that's how it comes across on camera. But yeah, they are, I dare say that it's a holographic glitter mix that's in here, but of course because the particles aren't close together you don't get that classic linear holographic effect. but it's very, very cute, and it's like little stars twinkling in the night sky. I'll also include a picture of a mani that I've subsequently done with this colour, just so you can see how it looks. But yeah, it is a little bit thinner. 3 coats you require with this, or again use a much more opaque black base and then just put a couple of coats over until you've got the amount of glitter that you want. I'll get some good pictures in daylight of them. I hope that you found this useful. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Let the dancing begin.